You talk about Republicans. In fact, the president's effectively campaigning against a do-nothing Congress of Republicans, but are Democrats a problem too? Bill Daley, the chief of staff, told Politico this in a column with Roger Simon on Friday. On the domestic side, Daley said both Democrats and Republicans have really made it very difficult for the president to be anything like a chief executive. This has led to a kind of frustration. Let's figure out what we can do without Congress and push the envelope on some of these things. Do-nothing Democrats?
No, if you look at where we are right now, trying to pass the American Jobs Act, cutting taxes for the middle class, putting construction workers and teachers back to work. Pretty much everybody in the Democratic Party in Washington, governors out there, are standing with the president. So there's only one reason we won't make a huge impact on the economy, and it's because the Republican Party, and I make this point.
But he singles out the Democrats.
Well, listen,
who and why are they doing it?
Well, listen, right now, the situation we're in right now, the Republican Party, almost in unison here in Washington, let me make a point. The Republicans out in the country, mainstream common sense Republicans, whether it's having the wealthy pay a little bit more to help balance our budget and create jobs, doing things on jobs, the Republican Party out in America supports the things the president's trying to do. So you see this distance between the sort of Tea Party Republicans here in Washington and the presidential candidates and what
But I'm
Americans
asking about Democrats.
Yeah.
Bill Daley said Democrats are creating frustration. They've made it impossible, nearly impossible for him to act like a chief executive.
No, in this moment we're trying to pass the American Jobs Act. Sure, there's been times, obviously, when not everybody in the Democratic Party here in Washington has agreed with everything the president's done. But right now, you've got Democrats in the Senate, in the House, Democratic governors and mayors who are standing in unison, not just with the president, but with the American people.
But you're not responding to this. I mean, here's the chief of staff saying Democrats have been part of the problem. Are you want to create some distance from that?
No, what I think Bill would tell you is in the moment we're in right now, trying to pass the American Jobs Act, trying to reduce the deficit in the right way, trying to do everything we can to help the middle class, it's the Republican Party here in Washington that's the problem.
You talk about not having a partner in Republicans. The leader of the Republicans in the Senate recently took the president on that very issue. Watch.
I know he's desperately interested in trying to blame anybody else, but he's the president of the United States. He set the agenda. He got everything he wanted, and it didn't work.
Stimulus, financial reform, health care reform, all big measures. They didn't work out in terms of economic impact the way the administration expected they would. Here are the Republicans saying, we don't want to go along with anymore. You call that obstruction. They call it principled opposition.
Well, it's ironic. Let's remember what Senator McConnell said. What she said his number one goal was not to put people back to work, help the middle class grow the economy. It was to defeat President Obama. So that's where they started this president's term. So
the president got the big things he wanted, did he not?
Well, we've got a lot more work to do.
No, but he got the biggest things he wanted in his first term.
Well, this economy is going to take a long time to recover. So we've got to keep making progress. And right now you've got a Republican Party in Washington that almost seems to think the economy isn't in urgent shape, that it does need a jump start. Don't take my word for it. Every independent economist who's looked at the Republican jobs plan in Washington says it wouldn't do anything to create jobs in the short term. One macroeconomic advisor actually said their agenda could lead to the destruction of millions of jobs and economic and political upheaval.
Well,
so the only plan right now in front of the American people, in front of Congress, that would create jobs in the short term is the president's. Now, we've done some work with the Republicans, obviously. We passed some trade deals that's going to help us sell Fords and Chevys in South Korea, pass patent reform. So we have been able to work together, and hopefully in the next 60 days, we'll come together to cut taxes for the middle class and do everything we can to help on the economy. We still have confidence in that.
All right.